In the short to medium, I think lithium ion will continue because, like I said, it hasn't been optimized. It's not reached a saturated stage. If you look at NiCads, metal hydrides, and so on, they were, for almost a decade, they were constant. They were not improving at all. So you know that this is the maximum performance you can get from that. But when you look at lithium ion, they're still inventing new materials or finding new materials that can work as a lithium ion cell with different anodes, cathodes, different electrolytes, and so combinations and so on. So I think at this point, I don't see a big leap out of the box where we're going to look at some very big innovative chemistry. And it takes, even if someone is discovering it today, it takes 10 to 15 years to bring it to market. And then it takes some time for it to gain traction. So right now I see lithium ion not going away, maybe with different forms of lithium ion coming in, but not going away for sure. In many countries, it is a requirement to recycle. So every manufacturer has to show that so much percentage of the batteries have been recycled. This is a requirement for battery manufacturers. So lithium ion recycling facilities have already been established in many countries. So you can actually recover a lot of usable material from a lithium ion cell that can be recycled and used again in another new lithium ion cell. So end of life, I don't think it's a big issue. Of course, it's going to be expensive to recycle it, but I think you get the benefit of reusing those materials. So you should go into recycling rather than trying to just dump it in the waste. If you dump it in the waste, it is also a hazard. It's a safety hazard because if someone crushes it by mistake, that is going to lead to a fire, and so you will have it's a fire hazard. It has happened in the past or in the past few years that people have mixed lead acids and lithium ions for recycling, and recycling facilities have been burnt up to the ground because of that. Because lead acids are crushed to recycle them, you can't crush a lithium ion, it goes into flames. So there are different ways of doing things, and so they had to be segregated and recycled properly. If your electrode design is not designed for a fast charge rate, then you can have, like for instance, if the porosity of your electrode is not the correct one, then the lithium ions, when you charge them really fast, do not have enough time to intercalate into the anode. Instead, they will actually deposit on top of the anode. So that is one of the things that can happen. And then another thing that can happen when you're charging really fast and your electrolyte does not have the right ionic conductivity, then again you will have heating up of the electrolyte, decomposition of the electrolyte, and again leading to lithium metal deposition rather than intercalation. So charging, and also the other last part is your cathode should be able to release the lithium ions fast enough to be able to intercalate into the anode, and that also depends on how the cathode is built. So there are all these factors that need to be looked into before you can go into a fast charge or an ultra fast charge method. Lithium ion has been unsafe for a long time, but I won't say it's completely unsafe. It depends on how you design the battery. If you design it correctly, even a poor performer, I wouldn't say poor, but maybe a medium performer, can be very safe and can work like you want it to work. But because of the safety hazards associated with lithium ion, it has not become very prolific. So it's taking a lot longer. And the other part of it is also that lithium ion has changed so much. First we had lithium cobalt oxide and graphite, but then now we have so many combinations of cathode materials as well as some new anode materials. So it has not reached the optimum peak performance. And so you see that there are changes that are happening in the lithium ion industry itself, which is causing changes also in how it is used, how it is designed, and so on. And the last aspect is size. We have lithium ions that are consumer based as well as the large stationary energy storage, and the safety varies with respect to the size also. That is why there's not a full grown acceptance of lithium ion batteries, mainly in the larger sizes. In consumer batteries, you see them, consumer equipment, you see them everywhere. But with the larger batteries, because of the challenges with safety and not fully understanding all the different aspects of the different chemistries, the different capabilities with respect to rate, with respect to temperature, and so on, it has not caught on as fast. And cost is a big factor.